Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check the video out. Always grateful for that. And guys, today got a good one for you. We're going to be talking about what I consider the most underused, off the radar May crankbait of any crankbait out there on the market. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, show you guys what it's about, and sort of give you guys a scenario that it works good for the post-spawn situation. I think it's going to add up to some really good fish for you guys over the next month or so. Also guys, quick invitation, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blockett Professional Angler. Just shoot me a private message for information on that. And also I'd like to invite everybody to please hit that subscribe button to the channel. It's free and easy and much appreciated. Okay guys, the two baits that I'm talking about here are the Megabass Big M 2.0 and 4.0 crankbaits. These are Mongo crankbaits. They're over 5 inches long. This is a big crankbait. They're sort of, I'm going to put them in the same category in my opinion as like a Squarebill crankbait. They work in the same type of scenarios, although you can fish them a lot deeper. But as far as the mood and the personality of the bass, when they actually bite the 4.0 and the 2.0, they really react to it a lot the same as any other Squarebill crankbait. But guys, this is a real situationally specific bait that I want to talk about primarily for the post-spawn in the month of May. Now, Megabass makes two different kinds, and also guys, I'll link these into my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you guys would like to pick up one and try it. But the two different sizes are the 2.0, which you can see that basically it's just a lip difference, and the 4.0. The 4.0 here will actually, if you fish it on like a 12-pound line, you can get this thing down to 8 or 10 feet I have. And the 2.0 is going to be about half that, about half the depth of that. This was a later version here. The 2.0 came along first here. But guys, these are very loud, aggressive crankbaits. I mean, it is designed for an aggressive bass, and you have to have just the right set of circumstances for this thing to work. But when you get those circumstances out there, the average fish that you're going to catch on these things, guys, are going to weigh 4 pounds or so. Super loud, super aggressive. Now, first of all, before we get into the May, I will say that there is a window of time, especially with the Megabass 4.0 here, that you can catch them in the pre-spawn, especially if you guys are fishing over deeper grass beds. So all you guys out there that fish Texas, Florida, some of the TVA lakes, this is a really good bait to fish over the top of deeper grass in the pre-spawn time of the year. But my best success on this thing, guys, has been in the month of May. And I'm gonna explain the situation with that. First of all, before you throw this thing, this bait, the 4.0 and the 2.0, since they're so big, they're sort of akin to a glide bait or a big swim bait in the fact that you got to have sort of a ship because you're not going to get a lot of bites on it. Not to say that you can't. I mean, it's under certain situations when they're really biting it good, you can catch a lot of fish on it. But most of the time, this is type of deal that if you throw it and the fish are biting and the conditions are right, if you get 5, 6, 7 bites a day on it, you've had a really good day. But those 5 or 6, 7 bites that you get are going to be the right ones. They're going to be twice as big as anything you can catch with any other bait. So in order for these to work good, the fish have got to be just in the right mood and personality. And that comes with the combination of the weather that you have and the water conditions that you have. First of all, you need to have a post-spawn situation. And I like it to be about 2 to 3 weeks at least after most all the fish have spawned in the lake, and the fish are starting to move a little bit deeper. They're starting to move in their post-spawn staging areas. So depending upon what part of the country you're in, it could be anywhere between now till a month from now, just depending upon where you are geographically. Second thing with that is you got to have the right weather conditions. Now, like anything else, you can catch fish on any bait at any given time, but for this bait to work good, the 2.0 and the 4.0, you got to have low light conditions, which I normally like some type of a cloudy day. Rainy days even better. You got to have some type of normal temperature or warm above average temperature. Prefrontal conditions where you have some type of a steady or falling barometric pressure. And the number one thing is you got to have wind. If you don't have wind, you're not going to catch many fish on these big crankbaits like that. You need a windy day. So you need sort of that blustery, cloudy type rainy day that happens a lot in May time of year. And that gets those fish fired up and aggressive to hit those bigger baits. So couple different scenarios where I've done good on these things as far as the type of water you want to look for in the lakes. Obviously, it depends on the type of lake that you're fishing. But the first thing that I look for in the post-spawn during the month of May, in any type of a typical highland impoundment out there, any type of man-made impoundment, is fishing steep rocky banks and bluffs, especially in the creek arms. So if you pick out 2 or 3 major creek arms in the lake you fish, get out there on the steepest banks that you can find, preferably bluffy type banks where the channel's next to it, and basically make long casts with this thing and throw it parallel to those banks. And you need to fish it fast. That's the whole key with the Big M 4.0 and the 2.0. You're not going to catch nothing on the thing, guys, if you just sort of wobble it along like that. You got to get this thing moving fast because it's so big that you've got to create a reaction strike from it. You do not want them to get a good look at this thing because it's simply too big. So when you're throwing it out there, make that long cast parallel down the bluff banks and just burn it, stop and go, burning it like that. Get it down there, knocking those rocks. And you got to have wind coming on that bank. So you get on those windy bluff banks, the windy channel banks, and you burn that thing with a stop and go retrieve, along with the correlation with the right water clarity. And the right water clarities, you need anywhere between, say, probably 2 to 4 foot of visibility. Ideally, that 2 to 3 foot of visibility is going to be absolutely perfect for it. Burn those steep banks. Now, the other area that you're going to catch those fish on in it is any type of offshore, especially a ledge lake. So all you guys that fish ledge lakes like TVA lakes, maybe even some of the ledge lakes on Lake Eufaula in Alabama, this 4.0, guys, is an excellent ledge lure. It's like when those big fish that are in the post spawn, they move out there in those deeper structures and they start schooling up. You can knock that bottom, like I said, an 8 to 10 foot of water on this 4.0 and just bounce it down those ledges. On the ledges, deeper points, that type of stuff is going to be really good, for those post-spawn fish. This is a profile that they don't see because most of the time those guys that are fishing the ledges are using like a, Strike King 6XD or Megabass Deep 6 or DD22, but you can get this profile of bait down with 12-pound line into that same zone, and it just offers them a different profile with that. And also, if you do have some lake, like for example, Lake Gunnersville in Alabama, in May, you can still catch them over the top of the grass with this using heavy line. So you can put it on 25-pound test line, put it on a flipping stick or something, and keep your rod tip high and sort of burn it over the top of that grass bed. But most of the time on the line with this, guys, I'm using, if I want to max it out and try to fish those deeper points or the ledges, I'm fishing it on 12 to 15. If I'm fishing it just down a windy, rocky bank, which is my favorite way to fish it, I'm usually using on 20, because when I'm using the 4.0 on 20, I'm still getting this bait down 6-7 feet, which is perfect for those rocky banks there. And the 2.0, like I said, I actually have had better success on the 2.0 over the grass than I have on the rocks. I just like the Big M 4.0 when I'm fishing around rocks. But anyway, guys, give it a try. I mean, if you're on some type of a post-spawn crank and bite, whether it be Squarebill, deep diving crankbait, try this thing. They don't see it much at all. It's a fish catching bait. Not many people use it, and it catches big ones. I mean, you're not going to have one of those days where you go out there and catch 20 fish on it, but you may have a lot of days where you go out there and catch 5 that weigh 20 pounds on it. So anyway, link in the description here. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link if you want to pick up a couple of them. Definitely worth having a few in your box. I would suggest the 2 different colors. Just get you some type of a shad pattern like this, MB Gizzard shad, and then some type of a brighter chartreuse side, something like that for dirty water, cloudy conditions, a little bit brighter conditions, a little bit cleaner water, the 2 color variations. So anyway, I hope it helps you guys out. We'll talk later.